do hear that." His scarred face leaned over the fire, each flicker lighting up a new angle of twists and burns in his long scowl. "You hear those hollow screams?" Angelo gripped his sword tight. Out past their faint light, just beyond the reach of truth, terrible sounds faded in and out, wading like the shore of Brachial Lake. "Yes," he said with a stinging gulp. Angelo still wasn't sure about the man across from him, but he'd offered him refuge from the night, and at the moment, that was enough. The man straightened back up, looking over Angelo and the fading ember. He smirked, and the silvery gristles on his chin shine like the needles in the sun. "You know what they are, boy, those sounds." "I'm not a boy." Angelo shrugged his cloak higher onto his shoulders. "I'm a grown man, and a messenger for the king." "They're demons, boy. Hell spawn." Angelo chuckled, though the sound still rattled off in the forest and wrung his spine with grave chills. His mind dared not follow. "Load of shite." "You must learn to listen to your body, son. The gods gifted us not just wits, but a body to dance with her. You fail yourself by dancing alone." Angelo took a deep breath and gave a moment to truly analyze the old brute that stood before him. He had leather armor, light and loosely strapped, a short, tight cut of grey hair, and the face of an old man that fought time every single hour, a youthful well yet to dry in unwilting pasture. His sword was short, yet much broader than normal, and it hung from his hips so lazily that Angelo thought he could hear screaming decency commanders of Imperial army from here. "What is your name?" Angelo finally asked. "I don't know." "Come now," he laughed. "Enough with your strange jokes. Tell me your name. It is the proper thing to do." "They take it every night." The tone made Angelo think it was playful games, but his pose and deadlocked gaze into the screaming night gave him doubt. He leaned forward onto his knees, now set on to digging out truth from the mysterious man. "I may be young, but I understand the respect that one man owes another, and the honesty that respects demand. I ask again, man, who are you?" "Fighting demons take a lot. I knew that much when I started." His voice had moved down to a low, reverent hum, eyes glassy and reflecting black. "They didn't tell me that it would take my name, that it would take my mind." Angelo felt he'd lost anything to say. The conversation had moved into a landscape that he had no map for. Instead, he just watched with a serious face as the strange man continued. "Hell moves swift, and we must chase it. That is our pledge. Follow the terrible stream of the hateful, be dogged in your lust for the damned, and don't once blink, or they'll make sure your eyes never open again." He turned to look directly at Angelo again, and he saw not fear, but mortal understanding, grave knowledge. "Demons are in those woods tonight, real as you and I, and every night I must chase them off, and every night they take more of me. Soon I'll be nothing more than a husk, a hollow beast that fights for some reason beyond its knowledge. No better than a scared rabbit." The man nodded to himself as he thought. "The lodge has a name for that, by the way. It's a great honor, but you wouldn't think it by the name. They call them Thurn. Don't ask what it means. All who knew have long forgotten. Those not in the lodge just call them the Faded." He laughed to himself. "We used to have our own language before they took that. Isn't that something?" Angelo had been trained in the academy. He'd been educated by the orators and cultured by the decency corps. He knew well that the demons were outside the belief of any decent Imperial, yet he could no longer doubt a word that flowed from the man's mouth. "Why fight then?" Stay the night and follow me back to the capital. The Imperial can always use good fighters, and the skeptics and herbalists will help bring back your mind to you, I have no doubt." "Oh boy." He grabbed his stomach and let out a belting laugh, rearing back and smiling. His teeth shined against the fire, and Angelo saw the crow's feet and wrinkle marks of a man that used to laugh a lot. "You misunderstand what I tell you." The man's jaw twisted as he rested a palm on his loose sword, and his eyes moved away and yet again found home far into the woods. "Man is made to fight, that is without question. Some men fight for their family, some for their nation, others for knowledge. We all fight, that is mankind. That is the lot the gods gave us, and we have but one true solemn duty, one code that we must follow if we want to lead a successful life. We must continue our fight." Angelo winced. "I am no believer in an afterlife." "No, don't fight for an afterlife, gods no. No, son, you must fight simply because you're a fighter. You do not ask why a fish swims or a wolf howls. Birds do not dance in flocks to impress the gods into a reward. No. Son, you fight for the same reason the wolf howls and the birds dance. You fight because it's in your blood. You fight because without such action, you wither away." The pride swelled in the man that rivaled the fire, and each of his words fed right back into his own embers. "These demons will one day kill me. They will make a mockery out of my mind, and I will become Thurn, faded. That is without question. But do not confuse me, boy. There's no fate I could take more joy in than fighting hell until the last memory of my mind is dust, until my words no longer mean anything to myself, until I cannot even remember what daylight is. Why, and it's wonderful. As that is brilliance, perfection is only perfect dedication, and I will not falter." Angelo stared with a solemn respect. His regimented heart was moved. "Let me carry your sword then, man. Let me tell the kingdom of your fateful tale. How would you like the Empire to remember you? I ask you to choose now. What name will history know you by?" The screams in the night became louder, and with their elevating pitch stole the man's attention. He gazed into the swelling darkness and gave a solemn smile. "I haven't been given a hard question in a long time, boy." He began walking out into the woods, slowly drawing his short, fat sword. "One of the few odd things I remember isn't my name, but my father's. His name was Altus, and I think I loved him a lot." He shot one last look to Angelo, and it was a smirk that rivaled the devil's. "Call me Altus." He disappeared into the night, and with his departure, so soon did the screams go. The night lightened back up, and the moon crystallized the air into something serene. Angelo was left with the fire, admiring the strange moment he'd witnessed and internally debating if it wasn't even real. Though the thought didn't last long, Angelo knew the truth when he heard it. He reached into his coat and felt the imperial letter he was meant to deliver to the king. It was vital, of national concern. Yet, somehow, Angelo felt that wasn't the most important thing he'd deliver out of these woods. No, he knew so. Altus and his truth was the real message here, and the Empire would know it.